In back segment tonight, the far left getting pounded as their guy, President Obama, continues to be mired in controversy. As far as a prisoner swap is concerned, here is the far left spin.
What we do know is that Bergdahl, a former POW who's under treatment now at a military hospital, is being swift-boated by the reflexive anti-Obama machine. He does deserve better than this. Last night, Bill O'Reilly said Bergdahl's father looked Muslim.
Now, the reason I said that Robert Bergdahl looked like a Muslim is that he looks like a Muslim. And swift-boating is what John Kerry's opponents did to him when he ran for president. They implied that his Vietnam service was not worthy. Joining us now from Washington, Howard Kurtz, anchor of Media Buzz, seen Sundays at 11 a.m. So this looks like desperation time over at MSNBC and the other far-left websites. What do you say?
Well, a few MSNBC hosts, Bill, are trying to deflect blame here, but here's where Ari Melber, who we just heard from, is wrong. If you look at the media landscape, CNN and the New York Times have been very aggressive in interviewing soldiers who served with Bergdahl who are angry about him deserting his post. And if you look at other coverage, everybody is covering President Obama's failure to consult with Congress, which includes Democrats who are ticked off about this. I guess Melber, who worked for John Kerry's 2004 campaign, has swift-boat on the brain, but this is not a smear campaign by the media. This is the media challenging the administration's narrative and changing it by digging out facts.
Okay, but let's face it. We heard Van Jones on CNN say this was a Republican thing, so that the real diehard zealots who are never going to admit that President Obama made a mistake about anything, they're really having a hard time on this story. I mean, what does... I said that Robert Bergdahl looked like a Muslim when he appeared at the White House with President Obama. A, he absolutely looked like a Muslim. B, he talked in Pashto, the language of the Taliban. And C, he thanked Allah. I thought the appearance was totally inappropriate. I said it. I'll stand by it. Why am I being injected into that?
Well, I think you went too far on that one, because I'm not a fan of how Bob Bergdahl has conducted himself, but cut the guy some slack.
Why?
He is not... Because his son was missing for 5 years. He's been through hell. Suddenly, this guy from a small town, Idaho, is thrust into the national spotlight. He's not the issue. He didn't walk off from a military unit in Afghanistan.
My job is to be honest and to analyze honestly. The man shows up at the White House looking like a Muslim. He speaks Pashto. He thanks Allah. It's inappropriate. Okay, is he over the edge because of his boy? Maybe. And I feel bad for him if that's the case. But what he did and how he presented himself was inappropriate. And I said it. I didn't say it with any rancor. I said it in the context of, I wish he hadn't done it. But I'll tell you this, Kurtz, and you're gonna remember these words. This father and this son, they were sympathetic to the Taliban. And that's going to be borne out.
I am not disputing that.
That's going to be borne out.
But I think the focus, Bill, should remain on Bo Bergdahl and whether or not he actually may have caused the deaths of other soldiers who went looking for him. And by the way, about this, it's all the right's fault. It's a left-right slugfest. It's not. The email that we've all been quoting this week, in which Bo Bergdahl told his parents he was ashamed to be an American and so forth, this was dug out a couple of years ago by Rolling Stone, hardly part of the vast right-wing conspiracy.
That's right. Well, look, as I said, the story is going to get even more complicated for the Bergdahl family, unfortunately. All right, Howard, we'll watch you Sunday. Plenty more ahead as the factor moves along this evening.